This is one of the best communication models I've ever used, and I use it since, I don't know, 10 years for sure. This is a Foresight Model by a German psychologist, Friedman Schultz von Thun. On the left side we have the sender, and on the right side we have a receiver. So it's two people talking together like you see in the middle. This model explains that you have always 4 different types of messages inside of one message. So if you talk to a person, then this person can understand 4 different things depending on different topics. So the first message is self-revelation. So who do you feel? What do you stand for? That's kind of your perspective of the world, and that's what you're reflecting in what you're saying. Number 2 are facts, clear data and clear informations towards the receiver. And then the relationship part is how are you related to the other person. We'll give examples later, then it will be more clear. And then if we look into the appeal is really what would you like the other person to do. So let's just take a sticky note and say here, if we say this is the self-revelation, it's all about me and my perspective. If we look at facts is relatively easy, especially for a German. Data, insights, and information. So this is what you will share as that part of that message. And then if we go now to relationship, is what is the relationship between the two people or more people, obviously. And then if we look at the appeal, what would you like the other person to do? So let's get into an example. I often use the example when you drive in a car with your spouse. So it's like me and my wife driving in a car, stopping at a traffic light. The traffic light is red. I'm the driver. I'm looking around. I'm looking whatever, other people walking around. I'm just checking out what's going on in the surroundings. I'm not paying attention to the traffic light. And then my wife is shouting at me, it's green, you have to drive. What are the 4 messages in this? So if we just use this example, self-revelation. What can be a self-revelation in this case of my wife? If she's shouting, then she might be stressed. Maybe she's in a hurry because she wants to be at a specific appointment and we're driving to that appointment. So that's her perspective on who she is and what's happening for her in this moment. If we now go into the facts. If we stand in front of the traffic light and the traffic light goes from red to green, that's the fact. Traffic light changes from red to green. Super easy. Then it gets more complicated. Relationship. Shouting. I mentioned that she was shouting at me that she's eager that I'm starting driving. There might be something frustration from the day before. There might be something going on between us and we're not in a good setup in the moment. Maybe I said something while we were driving towards that traffic light that upset her. So there might be a lot of things. Let's just give an example. It's like upset because of day before. And there can be thousands of opportunities. The appeal means, hey, start driving, it's green. So a very, very easy model that helps you to understand how do communications work from both sides. You can be the sender, then you need to be aware of, okay, what is my relationship to the other person? What might the other person understand differently? If you're in a very good relationship with your best friend, then you can just slip things and they will understand your way of humor, for example. If you are not in a good relationship with the other person, then you need to be very, very clear on how you're communicating. As well, be aware, what are you revealing from yourself? Are you stressed? Are you in a hurry? Are you happy? Are you sad? All of this will go into the message and the other person might understand that rightly or wrongly. And then the data and insights, the facts part is as well, be very clear. Hey, the traffic light is green, just for your information. You can say the same thing depending on the tone of voice and so on, and the other person can understand things differently. And then, of course, what is the appeal? What would you like the other person to do is another key part, as part of your communication. Important as well when you put yourself into the receiver side. So what do you hear from the other person? Do you hear that the person is upset? Because then you can ask the other person, hey, it feels like you're upset. What's going on? So a very, very easy model. Use this with your team. I always say that putting it in front of other people and explain the model, go deeper. It's a very simple tool which you can use when you prepare communication. Even more important when you have written communication, because written communication is often just seen from one perspective, and people can interpret a lot of things into written communication. They don't see your mimic on, are you smiling, are you laughing, are you looking angry? They don't see that. So very important for you to be aware of that, and then you can use it for other people to understand you better.